What's up guys, Josh Blunt here. We have finally made it to leg day. A couple of key points I want to point out is the mind to muscle connection, especially with exercises that we're doing at home with the resistance bands. We're not pushing a lot of weight, so that mind to muscle connection, really contracting the muscle, squeezing it as hard as we can, controlled movements the entire time. That's going to play a key role here. Also the reps, some of us are going to be able to do 15, maybe 20, 30 or 40 reps. Whatever it is, we need to push ourselves, do not give up. That's really going to play a role here. The exercise starts when the muscle starts to burn. When it starts to burn, that's when we really need to push ourselves and give it our all. If you're going to failure, that's even better, especially with these exercises, or at least close to failure. If we're trying to get the results, if we're trying to maintain our muscle mass, or trying to lose weight, whatever it might be, we need to be going close to failure. We need to be focused on the mind to muscle connection, slow and controlled movements, push your way through, do not give up. Another thing I want to mention is that we really need to support our medical staff right now. These are the soldiers on the front line. This war has been brought into our front doors and they're out there risking their lives every single day. I want to show you a clip here in a second. San Diego is where I live, downtown here. Our entire downtown pretty much comes together at 8 p.m. every single night. They're shouting, they're hollering, flashing their lights, honking their horns to support the medical staff at 8 p.m. and that's when their shift changes. So at 8 p.m. they're out there flashing their lights and really bringing a lot of support, a lot of awareness to the shift change of these medical staff, the people, the real soldiers that are on the front line trying to save our lives. So I want to give thanks to everybody who's in the medical field, the researchers, everybody that's trying to take control of the situation and make the world a better place. Thank you so much. Take a look at this clip here. As you can see guys, they're shouting, they're hollering, flashing their lights, honking the horns, whatever they can do, bringing awareness, bringing attention. So glad to be a part of that. That happens every single night at 8 p.m. I think it's awesome. So thank you all, everybody out there on the front lines, putting in the work and risking their lives. Thank you so much. Without further ado, let's get started on this leg workout. All right guys, so the first exercise we're gonna be doing is the Bulgarian split squats. This exercise will be effective with or without the bands, so I'll leave that part up to you. If you're a beginner, you can definitely use your body weight. It'll be just as effective. Now there are two ways that you can do this exercise. You can go straight up and down like I'm doing here, loading mostly the quads at the bottom and then back up. You can also lean forward slightly like this here, putting a massive stretch on the glutes and then pushing back up from there. Alternating between these two will target the anterior and posterior chains, so that's what I would recommend doing if you can. Again, you do not have to use the bands if this exercise is too awkward with them. Just your body weight will be just fine. The next exercise I'll be doing is some hip thrusters. So you'll want to place your back on a chair or a couch, whatever you have available, with your feet slightly wider than shoulder width. At the top of each rep, you'll want your legs to be at about a 90-degree angle here. Start flexing the glutes at the bottom of this exercise and squeeze as hard as you can at the top. Stay focused, keep your chin down slightly, not up, and act as if you were trying to keep a dollar bill between your cheeks during the contraction at the top. The next exercise I'll be doing will be similar to a side lunge, except we'll be targeting the inner thighs with this exercise. And the way I'll be doing that is by not lifting our leg back up to starting position, but by sliding it and pulling the leg back to the center towards you. That will target the inner portion of the leg most effectively. Do what you can here guys, and then change legs. If you do not have the sliders like I'm using here, then something like paper plates as an example will work just fine. Alternate between legs. Now we are going to jump over to the abductors, the outer portion of the thighs. If we work the inside, we've got to work the outside, right? All right, so here we are just stepping side to side. Try to get a few steps in either direction if you can, then reverse back the other way. Keeping your feet as straight as possible so you're not recruiting any other muscle groups. This one really does start to burn if you give it some time, I promise you that. If you don't have a lot of room on either side of you, one step side to side will do just fine. Just make sure you're pushing yourself past the burn. That's going to be the key here. Once it starts burning, that's when the exercise starts. If the resistance that you're using isn't enough, then just change the bands, if that's not obvious. All right, so this last exercise here will be similar to a deadlift or even a good morning if you've ever done those, because if done correctly, it can really hit those hamstrings and glutes. So by stepping on the band, grabbing a hold of the opposite side here, as you can see, and then rotating those hips, getting a nice squeeze at the top. The lower back will definitely come into play here. Control the movement, keep your core stable. By doubling the bands like I did here, this will obviously give you a little bit more resistance to work with. Do what works best for you. This is only 5 exercises for legs, so I would definitely recommend going through this routine a few different times if you can. Remember, focus on the mind to muscle connection, control the movement, contract the muscle as hard as you can, and do as many reps as possible going close to or near failure. Thank you all for watching.